Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Bella Edgley. Now, for today's video, I'm going to show step by step how I made this painting in my sketchbook. I'm only using two colours and I'm using a wet and wet technique. And I think that this kind of painting is a fantastic exercise, whatever level you are, and it's especially good for beginners. I quite often use it when I'm testing out a new colour, and that's what I'm doing today. I've got this Daniel Smith Moonglow. Now, I said I was using two colours. This colour is actually a mix of three pigments. So it's got ultramarine blue, viridian, and anthraquinone red. Had a bit of trouble pronouncing that. Now I'm going to be also using a pure ultramarine blue. I chose the ultramarine blue because I knew that that was in the Moonglow mix, and I want this to be a really simple painting where I'm really exploring this color. You might not have Moonglow, so you could try using a maroon mixed with a blue ultramarine, or any combination of two colors. It might be handy if at least one of them goes fairly dark. That will help you when it gets to the central part of this painting. Now, as you can see, I've used my low tack tape and I've stuck two strips down the sides, and then I've stuck one more strip in the middle. So this is just low tack tape from my local art shop, but I did actually place the tape for the central strip just on the desk, just to take away some of the tackiness. So if you find your tape a bit too sticky, you can try doing that. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've mixed in some water with the Moonglow, and I'm just putting a strip of that colour across the top of that tape. And now I'm getting some clean water and I'm just running that across the top, and that's pulling that paint up into the water. Now, something I was a bit surprised about with the Moonglow is that it goes quite light. I found it was quite difficult to get a really dark area of paint down, and that was just an interesting finding about this paint. I've never used it before. Okay, so I applied that paint to dry paper. Now, another option is to wet the paper first, and you can experiment with that. I think this exercise is fantastic for practicing the wet and wet technique. Okay, so that paint is now wet. Now, it is really quite hot where I am in the UK, so it's drying quite quickly. So I'm trying to work quickly, and I'm getting a bit thicker paint there, and I'm adding more towards the horizon line. And what I'm trying to achieve is this effect where that sort of landmass gets darker towards the bottom, but in bands as well. Now, if you're following along and painting at the same time, your painting might be looking really quite different to mine. And that's the beauty of watercolour and the wet and wet technique. It can be slightly unpredictable. And I'm just keeping an eye on what's happening on the edges, because it's easy with this kind of painting for the wet paint to sort of travel up the sides of the tape. So I'm trying to sort of suck that up with a slightly drier brush if I notice that happening. And now what I'm doing is I'm getting pure blue ultramarine, and I'm trying to get that quite thick along the top edge of that tape. I am keeping an eye on that middle band as well. I think I'm getting a slight bloom there where I put that second swipe of the Moonglow across, and that will be because the paint below, or the surface below, was quite a bit dry, and then I would have been putting that wetter layer on top, and that's what happens. You get a bloom when you introduce paint that's a bit wetter than the paper um, that you're painting onto. But I'm not going to do anything about it right now. I'm just going to carry on adding that blue ultramarine to the center. Now, you may not be getting this sort of bloom effect. It really depends on the climate you're painting in and how much water you've used and how quickly you're working. If you are new to watercolor painting, you will get a feel for the wet and wet technique as you keep practicing. Now, I didn't want to speed this up because I really want to give a good idea of the timing, as timing is so important with the wet and wet technique. But at this point, I decided to go back over that line with the Moonglow. I was trying to decide if I liked it or not, but I did decide that I wanted to get a bit of a smoother transition between my shapes. So that Moonglow has actually gone on top of that bloom quite well. So what I'm doing now is I'm just repeating that process of dragging up the top edge with some clean water. And like I said, it was quite interesting. I did find it quite challenging to get this colour quite dark, but I did manage to achieve that. And I then decided that I wanted to have not quite such an obvious sort of juncture between the blue ultramarine and that Moonglow. So I decided to mix the blue ultramarine and the Moonglow together, And I'm just going to go over that central area with that mix. And as I add these layers, the paint is getting darker and darker, so I was quite happy about that. So I am still working wet in wet, and I really like that colour, mixing the Blue Ultramarine and the Moonglow together. Again, I've got quite a sort of defined edge between the darker shape and the upper part. So then I decided to get more of the Moonglow and just put an area of that, between the two, that sort of blending those two shapes together. Okay, so I'm happy with how this top section is looking now, and I just want to go back in with some really dark paint and do a darker strip just to the top of the masking tape. Now for this, I'm barely adding any water at all. I want it to be really dark. This can be a challenge with wet and wet, to get the paint that you're dropping in to be really dark. And I mean, the best you can do if you do want it to be extremely dark is just to hardly put any water in it at all. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so if you're following along and doing a similar painting, yours might look quite different to mine at this point. Um, Hopefully you're happy with your results and you feel that you're learning something about the wet and wet technique. The basic concept is really just to try and get this sort of gradation from going really dark at the top of the tape to lighter, and to have some definition between the shapes, but to really use that sort of wet on wet feathered effect to have a certain amount of blending. You might be a more experienced painter, but like I said, I find it a really great exercise for testing out colours. Now I'm just sucking up some of that wet paint that's gone up the edges of the tape there. I always try and keep an eye on what's happening at the edges. I have speeded this up a bit, but I'm just going to be taking that central tape off now that it's pretty much dry. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is working on the bottom section, and I did just wait and make sure that that top section was really dry, but I'm just getting some low tack tape and I'm putting it carefully on top of the painted part at the top, but I'm just leaving a little strip of the paper so that when I take it off I'll have a bit of a white line through the center of the painting. Now I'm just going to be doing more or less the same that I did on the top but on the bottom section. So that's just working from the middle of the painting down and trying to use some water to thin out that paint as I get further to the edge. And it's really when you use water with this paint that you really see the benefits of it, because the three pigments begin to separate and they create these really beautiful colour variations. And then there's also the granulation as the pigment settles into the paper. But while I do this bottom part of the painting, I'm going to put the music up, and I'm not going to speed it up just because the timing is so important, but then I'll jump in again at the end. Okay, so this is more or less finished. I'm just dragging a really sharp blade across the paint at the bottom and it's still wet, so I'll get a nice dark line hopefully where I've made that mark, because the pigment will travel into it. But I'm really happy with this. I've got this nice light line there where I didn't quite cover up all the paint underneath, and I really like that. These are the kind of things in watercolour that can happen by accident, and it's really important to recognise them, I think, and to leave them in and not cover them up. So I'm going to leave this painting now and I'm going to be taking the tape off. and calling it finished. If you enjoyed this video and you're interested in finding out more about how to create minimalist watercolour paintings, I do have a short pre-recorded course available called Minimalist Watercolour Landscapes and Beyond. I'll put details in the description of this video, and I also have a monthly membership that you can join if you're interested, and again I'll put the details in the description. But I do hope that you've enjoyed this demonstration, and if you tried something similar, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, or if you've got any other comments or questions, I always get back to everyone. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then please do consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, thank you. Bye.